we lost a sitting ambassador. And we still don't have answers on that. On his watch, we had guns sold to drug cartels that were responsible for the taking of American lives. They're still showing up in crime scenes. But it's hands off Obama. Rush is right. This is some kind of messianic thing that they've got going on. This is sick. I mean, it's really sick, the hands-off approach that they expect everybody to take. It is worship. When we call these folks Obamites, man, at first it was kind of sarcastic, but it's not sarcastic anymore. It has become a literal term. It's like heads off. We're going to have to take off your head for making fun of the Savior. Well, I bet when he walks in the hall in the morning, he's walking, when he's walking down the halls there in the White House, can't you just picture it? Morning, Messiah. Morning, Savior. Good morning, my Lord.
Well, see, it's funny. One of the folks out there in the chat, Dr. Myth, he's kind of a liberal fella from the UK.
We still love him.
And he's out here in the chat. He's been screaming all night long. Look, y'all don't want Obamacare. It looks too much like the NHS. Trust me, y'all don't want this, except he's saying it with a British accent, of course. But you get the picture. When even the liberal folks from Great Britain are telling us, look, y'all don't want this. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do this Obamacare thing. It's bad. But the media's in love with it. Obama's in love with it. The Democrats in the House and the Senate, they're in love with it. It doesn't matter what you and I think. It doesn't matter what all of us out here in flyover country think.
It doesn't matter what any of the American people think, as long as these people still occupy those high offices. We need a whole bunch of Ted Cruzes. We need a whole bunch of Mike Lees and Trey Gowdies and Jeff Sessions. We need people that care more about the American people and the Constitution than they do their own political party. The reason we're in part of the reason we're in this mess to begin with is that for the past few decades, nobody's went against their own party on anything. All right, man. Look, I got to do something to cheer me up.
I think it's time to talk about
the moment of genius.
Today's moment of genius.
Wait a minute. I'm going to do this right. Today's moment of genius. Wasn't that cool?
Oh, that was very nice.
Wasn't that cool? It comes to us by the Right Reverend Al Sharpton. And I'm not even going to build it up. I'm just going to play it.
Some of us have battered race syndrome. We've developed, so many of us, a loser's complex. It's almost like the battered syndrome. When people are battered by their mate, they just automatically get ready for being battered, never occurring to them that they are full human beings and shouldn't be submitting and subjecting themselves to that. But once you create the mentality that you're supposed to tolerate a whipping, a beating, abuse, that you don't even complain about it or report it because you think you deserve it. Well, some of us have battered race syndrome. We can't win, ain't gonna win, that ain't gonna work, nothing gonna work, because we have battered race syndrome. We've beaten ourselves into defeatism. So they don't have to beat us, we beat ourselves with our own battered syndrome of we can't win. I don't know what marching gonna do. Well, then why is everybody else marching and getting their stuff through? Because they know if they go out there and raise the temperature, somebody gonna have to deal with them. But you don't think you qualify for that because they beat you down. Well, those that don't have that syndrome, meet me in Washington, August 24th. And let's do what's got to be done.
Thank you, Reverend Al. Thank you. Are people really? Are there really people out there that is so stupid that they have not figured out what this man is doing yet? Battered. You know who he's talking about with the battered race syndrome? That's black conservatives he's talking about. Well, if you ain't getting part of the agenda, if you ain't getting out there and marching, then it's just because you've been beaten down to the point that you don't even feel like trying no more.
Yeah, Ben Carson, him becoming a brilliant neurosurgeon, that's a sign of giving up right there. The
leading children's neurosurgeon in the United States.
Thomas Sowell, boy, he sure beat down.
One of the brightest economic minds in this nation's history, Thomas Sowell. Brilliant man.
Larry Elder.
Ooh, Ken Hutcherson.
Reverend Bryant.
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis, yeah, right. He's beat down. Yeah, buddy.
Denzel Washington, conservative. Alfonso Rachel, another conservative. You think they're beat down? See,
yeah, boy, they sure talk like they're beat down, don't they?
Here's what I don't get. Al, you won. You won, dude. Like the civil rights movement. I don't know if you was paying attention, Al. Y'all won. And you know how you won? You won because the Republicans stood up to the Democrats and got the civil rights bill pushed through.
I think Al likes staying on the plantation.
I think he does too. You know why Al likes being on the plantation? Because
it's been very kind to him.
Yep.
He's got a nice car. He's got nice clothes.
Yeah.
But it's been pointed out in the chat, how often do you hear Reverend Al saying anything about Jesus? You know,
and you know, speaking of which, you know when I think about Reverend Al, I think about this story of the rich man that met Jesus, that walked up to him and said, you know, look, I've been keeping all them commandments. I got that down, man. Now, tell me what I got to do to go to heaven. And Jesus said, that's easy, man. Just sell everything you got, give it to the poor, and come on with us. And the rich man went away very sad because he had a lot of stuff. See, that's Reverend Al. He got the commandments. He knows them all. He knows that book backwards and forwards. He knows how to use that book to say anything he wants to say. And he knows how to use that book to make himself a very comfortable life. But when it comes right down to it, do you think the good Reverend would be willing to sell all that he has and give back to his brothers and sisters?
I think if he was willing to do that, Marty, he would have done that by now, because he's a reverend. He's supposed to know the Bible as well as anybody.
He's one of those people that Jesus would have called a pit of vipers, a hypocrite. What he's doing when they say that's race baiting right there. You want a definition of race baiting? What he just did was race baiting. By saying that these black conservatives are race hating. That the only reason they think the way they do is because they're so beat down by the white man. Why's it got to be about that? That was settled, Al. Look, it would be stupid to say that racism don't exist in this country. It does. It just don't exist with just white folks no more. Now, there's black folks that's prejudiced. There's Latinos that's prejudiced. There's Asians that's prejudiced. Man, look, there's some Asian neighborhoods that if I go in as a white dude, they going to cut me up. Me and Tina and Casey got lost in a neighborhood over there in California where Meemaw was walking around with a hoodie on and a Glock in the front. And we was the wrong color. The civil rights movement accomplished its goal. In that, Martin Luther King Jr. would have been very, very happy. Even Jesus would have been happy with that. But I don't think that Jesus is going to be real happy with a man calling himself Jesus' representative, causing division and hatred among his people. Jesus said the most important commandment. What's the most important commandment? Love your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your strength. Mm-hmm. The one right next to that says to love your neighbor as yourself. Did anything in that speech sound like love to you?
You mean Reverend Al's speech?
Yeah.
No.
He likes to take up these causes, you know.
Another thing, you don't hear him talking about Jesus very much. And you don't hear him talking about love very much either. And, we don't take him seriously. I mean, not his words anyway.
But there's a lot of people that do.
Yes, and that's what we take seriously. That's the thing. I mean,
and I'm worried about them three people that watch his TV show on MSNBC.
What? He's got 3 now?
Huh.
He's climbing.
And in the chat, they also bringing up the Reverend Jesse. Of course, you can't call Jesse a Reverend no more because at least he had the good sense to know God's got something to say to him about that, and he at least took the Reverend off of his name. His son going to prison today, and I sat and watched him this morning make a speech. Called a press conference, making excuses for him. Oh, he's bipolar. He's bipolar, and we're just so very, very sorry that this has happened. And he wanted the judge to put his wife's sentence on him because she didn't have nothing to do with anything. They stole $700,000 in election money, almost $1 million. Yeah, wifey, he was making $34,000 a year. And they was spending almost $1 million, and wifey didn't know nothing about it.
Rick,
right.
Rick out there in the chat when you said his Jesse Jackson's son, you said you mean number 127428.
I think Reverend Jesse and Reverend Al, they gonna be amongst the ones that you hear them words that none of us Christians want to hear. Depart from me, for I never knew you. You workers of iniquities. These people is making money off evangelism and causing division all at the same time.
And they call Republicans fearmongers.
Mm-hmm. And racists. Yeah. When was the last time you heard a white politician stand up and even talk about race? I mean, like really talk about race, like from the white person's perspective. You haven't. You know why?
I'm thinking.
Because most people that's been awake and paying attention I'm just going to say the last 40 years because that's how old I am. Most people that's been paying attention that long don't even think about that stuff no more. Like, our kids, man, when they're talking about people, they don't even say, like, this Hispanic kid in class or this a black girl or black boy or Chinese boy or they don't even think about that stuff. Is it this kid in my class? Because most people don't take race into consideration with every single thing they do.
Most parents really aren't teaching their kids